My name Edmund Yakani, Executive Director of CEPO. I would like to take this opportunity with high respect to remind our leaders of the party signatory to R-ARCSS that now we are in the month of May, and this is within the lifespan of the extended 2 years for the transitional period, which is aiming at holding election by December 2026. As we speak today in the month of May, which is almost quarter of the extended period, we are worried that nothing was delivered from the pending task of the R-ARCSS that were agreed upon and that justify the reasons why the transitional period have to be extended. As we are planning to hold election by December 2026, if we fail to reach creation of good enough condition for the election by the deadline of October 2025, which is 5 months from now, then the country will be facing political leadership legitimacy crisis. And that's why we are appealing to our leaders early enough that before we could reach to the clock of threatening the political legitimacy of the government, it's better to be proactively engaged on delivering the pending task of the R-ARCSS. And that's why, as an activist, I'm repeating myself again that the newly reconstituted leadership of National Transitional Committee should hold a dialogue among South Sudanese signatory to R-ARCSS and the stakeholders for us to reach a national consensus on the pathway for implementing the pending task of the transitional period, which is aiming at transitioning our country from violence to peace. The recent violations that were scored and political tensions that were witnessed in some parts of the country is already creating for us huge pressure. We are receiving pressure from our counterparts, from members of the international community. We have seen already Sudan Beko, which is a petroleum authority, raising a concern that they want to deal with us on the petroleum business with a presence of a minister of petroleum. We have seen the Western world countries issuing statements. We have seen delay in the reopening of our parliament. All these actions require South Sudanese consensus in a friendly and conducive environment where South Sudanese sit and have conversation among themselves. I know there are political challenges which also hold some matters of legality associated with the pathway of transitioning the country from violence to peace through the implementation of the R-ARCSS. But as South Sudanese, if we sit under the NPTC, we will reach certain consensus of addressing those challenges by consensus. And that's why I'm appealing today to my leaders in the NPTC and in the government and in the parties that let us have our own South Sudanese gathering to generate a national consensus on what define the good pathway for transitioning the country from violence to peace at the current moment that we are in. Otherwise, if we continue with these political challenges, there's a high chances that we will find the pathway or the road to transition our country from violence to peace will be rough. And we have already seen incidences where barges are being hijacked by an armed force, which we strongly condemn it, but this is a new practice that is coming to challenge stability in the country. And likely we may see rise in road ambushes and clashes in somewhere in the face of where also our community are busily motivated by some political leaders on unarmed deadly violence across the country, which all these actions we condemned. Responsibility primarily lie with South Sudan leaders to make peace prevail. And peace cannot prevail if we don't talk to each